Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. This is Thunder Ducky with another video game / show report. And I just want to say thank you for all the people that have viewed the ones that I've done so far. They're doing pretty well, so I wanted to keep this kind of going. And if you want to see any of the other ones that I have done, I created a playlist called Random Topics. So you'll be able to go through and click all the ones if you happen to miss one, or there's one that you kind of want to see again, I guess. I don't know. The best way to keep that is to like it, and it pops up into your like list. But we're going to talk about Fallout. Now, if you didn't know, and I have since they announced it, Amazon is working on a Fallout show. Now, I was actually kind of excited, because I am a huge Fallout nerd, whenever I heard this. However, after seeing Rings of Power, I am hesitantly optimistic. And then I found out that the writers for the later seasons of Westworld are the ones doing this, the ones that turn it into a woke piece of shit. So I am no longer excited. I am hesitantly optimistic. And this image right here is actually from the show. It was part of the stills that were released. It has me even more concerned with it. I believe this is Walter Goggins right here. He's a pretty good actor. I don't think I've seen him in anything that I didn't like. And I will also note that I didn't see Westworld at all. I just, kept up with it as far as reviews and reports went, and then, I think Thandie Newton was attached, and then it went woke, and I'm like, I'm out, even of keeping up with the news, but here we go. That image worries me. If you don't know from Fallout lore, that is supposed to be a ghoul. Now, the point behind a ghoul is a person that did not get to one of the Fallout shelters and is 200 plus years old. And they are rotting from radioactive waste exposure. He's too clean. There's no rot. It's supposed to be scary. They're supposed to be different. It's to the point to where there's this rivalry / hidden war between humans and ghouls. Like, ghouls are called freaks, and ghouls call people smoothskins. There's this distinction between the two. They're not all buddy-buddy. And it's not something I'm looking forward to, because it just kind of shows how unwilling they are to kind of follow the games in certain aspects, and it's a tidbit that if they're not willing to do that, what else are they not willing to do? Now, the Brotherhood of Steel armor that they showed, the power armor, that looks sweet as shit. Like, that looks good. But, again, it's been 3 minutes. I'm a Fallout nerd. I could do this all day talking about this. Plus, it looks too clean. Nukes went off, motherfuckers. And it's 200 years plus. Yeah, but the reason why I'm doing this video is apparently, and I already got the article pulled up because I'm so good, and I don't have it on my phone, so it's like I'm looking at the camera. Okay. We have been told that the show is now canon with the video games. What are you doing? Ads are trying to fuck with me now. And we are on Screen Rant. And this is a story from 2 hours ago as of the recording of this video. So let's see what we got. The Fallout TV series will be canon with the video games, meaning it will avoid issues other adaptations have had. Outside the movies like 1995's Mortal Kombat being regarded as guilty pleasures, the critical reception of video game to movie adaptations used to be very poor, still is. From 1993's Super Mario Bros. To the likes of Max Payne, the genre was often filled with wall-to-wall turkeys. In the last decade or so, the critical reception to game adaptations has turned around, with the best usually being found on TV instead. Netflix's Castlevania was extremely respectful of the source material, featured beautiful animation and fleshed-out characters. Except I heard this new show or this new season. HBO's The Last of Us adaptation might be the most acclaimed live-action take on a game to date, and while it took some deviations, it was relatively faithful to the original plot. Amazon is hoping for the same acclaim, say that 10 times real fast, to greet their upcoming Fallout TV show, which boasts Westworld's Lisa Joy and Jonathan Nolan as showrunners, which is what I touched on earlier. Headed by a cast that includes Ella Purnell and Walton Goggins as a gunslinging ghoul, so that was him. A recent Vanity Fair shed some more light on the approach it will take. Chiefly unlike most video game adaptations, Amazon's Fallout will be canon with Bethesda's beloved game franchise. My God, I can't speak. Bethesda head Todd Howard, who also directed Fallout 3 and 4, stated, "We view what's happening in the show as canon, and that series will be a blend of post-apocalyptic adventure and the game's trademark subversive humor. The iconic Vault Boy will appear too. Dear God, I would fucking hope so. And there will be an in-universe origin for the character. Most game adaptations tend to avoid being canon to simplify their narratives and not be bound by the source material's continuity." That is where I'm hesitantly skeptical about this. Also, is Fallout, you got to create your own character. You didn't know the origin, and that's how every game has been set up. Now, we're going to have a main character, and it's part of the canon. So this person's going to have to be someone we've heard about in the previous games, or it's going to be someone that is going to be featured in one of the upcoming titles for relevance sake. The Fallout show will debut on Amazon Prime on April 12th, 2024, so we now actually have a date. Of course, the Fallout games may all be set in the same world, but each outing tends to focus on its own characters and story. Exactly. According to Howard, part of the appeal of the Amazon series is it ties into the lore of the games and includes familiar factions like the Brotherhood of Steel. Well, yeah, I would hope so. They're a staple of the series. One note is that Howard stated he rejected multiple pitches to turn Fallout into a movie because he wanted a live-action adaptation that offered a fresh approach to the property, except the movie would be a fresh approach. But I prefer it being a show. I will be honest with that. I did not want to do an interpretation of an existing story we already did. That was the other thing. A lot of pitches were, this is the movie for Fallout 3. I was like, yeah, we told that story. I don't have a lot of interest seeing those translated. I was interested in someone telling a unique Fallout story, treat it like a game. I don't know exactly how they're going to be able to do that, because 3, you were a kid looking for his dad. Fallout New Vegas, you started off as a guy who got shot in the head, and we're looking for revenge. Then, which is a great Western setup that the show probably should touch base on. I would like it. Fallout 4, you were put into a vault whenever the nukes were about to go off, and then you're also going out for revenge because your baby gets kidnapped and your wife gets shot. And Fallout 76, I just remember the vault overseer saying, hey, it's time to wake up and get out there. I don't really remember much about the beginning of Fallout 76 and the motivations to why you left or why the game even started. So I'm not completely familiar with that one. And here's the section of this article, and again, I haven't read this before, but here's a section I think is kind of interesting. Why a canon Fallout show is better than a video game remake. Not only does the Fallout series being canon set it apart from most adaptations, but it doesn't have to recycle a story the games have already covered. 2008's Fallout 3 was the first entry in the series after a long break, and introduced a new generation of fans to the sprawling world. At best, the games give players a huge sandbox to explore and approach however they wish, but the stories of the Fallout games are often the least compelling part. I mean, maybe. Maybe. Nolan and Joy have already shown an innate understanding of video game narrative with their work on Westworld. Making their take on a property as rich as Fallout is very exciting. A live-action take on the third game and its various side quests and moral quandaries may have been interesting, but 2024's Fallout sounds like it will take chances with what a video game adaptation can do, and one that could snag the franchise even more fans. If it's done right. Only if it's done right. So, I don't know how to really feel about this. Again, I'm hesitantly optimistic. Again, this image here, I don't like. He's not as degraded as he should be. Degraded? That's not the right word. It might be. I don't know. But, again, hesitantly optimistic. Again, with how Rings of Power turned out, whatever. The fact that they scored 2 people from Westworld, not a huge fan of that. I do like the fact that they're not retelling a story from one of the other games. However, I think that might be something they might want to touch base on for the first season just to get fans hooked in. But whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Are you looking forward to this? Worried about it? Not checking it out at all? And also, if you see over... Why do I keep pointing that way? If you see over here in the other corner, I'm currently, as of the recording this, sitting at 360 of 500 subs, trying to hit 500 by the end of the year, end of 2023. So if you're seeing this later, that's what I'm talking about. And I think we might be able to do it, ladies and gentlemen, and I would appreciate anybody that does like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. And if you would share this with a buddy, that would be greatly appreciated as well. And make sure you're turning on that bell notification so you know whenever I put up a video, a premiere, I live stream, or I do something else. We'll see you further down the line. Adios.